Welcome. Today our different paths come together in this virtual place. We are graced by the history of our free religious heritage. Let us be mindful of the forces deep within which call us to become more than we are. May this hour bring rest and renewal, comfort and challenge. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but we are connected in mystery and in wonder to each other, to this community, and to the universe. Welcome to Community Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Jen Mason, and I am one of our worship associates. Today, Pastor Kris Cervantes will reintroduce this small word with a deep spiritual meaning. Amen.
We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, with gifts and with needs. We come together and nourish our small flame of hope, a sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life that we share together and the community that begins here and reaches outward. Welcome to worship at Community Unitarian Universalist Church of Plano.
We light this chalice to find inner peace, love for each other, and faith in ourselves. Also, to be welcoming to whomever we meet and kind to all living creatures. So gather around this light of hope as we share this time together. As Unitarian Universalists, we come together from a variety of backgrounds with many different beliefs. We need not think alike to love alike. What binds us is purpose and our shared covenant. Please join me in saying it together. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in freedom, and to help one another.
Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you, through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Let a dancing song be heard. Play the music, say the words, and fill the sky with sailing birds. Let it be a dance, let it be a dance, let it be a dance. Learn to follow, learn to lead. Feel the rhythm, feel the need. To reap the harvest, plant the seed. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you, through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Everybody turn and spin. Let your body learn to bend. And like a willow with the wind. Let it be a dance, let it be a dance, let it be a dance. The child is born, the old must die. A time for joy, a time to cry. Take it as it passes by. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you, through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Morning star comes out at night. Without the dark there is no light. If nothing's wrong then nothing's right. Let it be a dance, let it be a dance, let it be a dance. Let the sunshine, let it rain. Share the laughter, bear the pain. And round we go again. Let it be a dance.
It's easy to ignore the moment we dwell in the time, when we should be our own choir shouting amen to every second that is given to us. But we forget and think only of the machinery that drives our lives, the idling engines of our day to day to day, the endless tapping on the keyboards. Or else we're waiting for something better to come along, some out-of-town engagement, better than where we are now. Life isn't some film we can review again. It's live theater, and even if we go back, what's the point? Sitting in the darkened room with the film ticking along, and we reverse the projector and see ourselves, returning in the car before we ever left, walking backwards to our house, or leaping out of the water we thought we were swimming in.
On my desk, there is a stone with the word Amen on it, a triangular fragment of stone from a Jewish graveyard destroyed many generations ago. The other fragments, hundreds upon hundreds, were scattered helter-skelter, and a great yearning, a longing without end, fills them all. First name in search of family name. Date of death seeks dead man's birthplace. Son's name wishes to locate name of father. Date of birth seeks reunion with soul that wishes to rest in peace. And until they have found one another, they will not find a perfect rest. Only this stone lies calmly on my desk and says, Amen. But now the fragments are gathered up in loving kindness, hesed, by a sad good man. He cleanses them of every blemish, photographs them one by one, arranges them on the floor in the great hall, and makes each gravestone whole again, one again, fragment to fragment, like the resurrection of the dead, a mosaic, a jigsaw puzzle, child's play. All right. Well, good morning. My cat is going to definitely push his way into this picture today, so thank you for your patience with Mike the cat. Amen. 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 Amen is the word of ending. It's the word at the end of the prayer, the end of the service, the end of the sermon, the reflection, the redemption. Amen means so be it. Amen means faithfulness. Amen means truth and believing. Amen means verily, verily. Amen is an acronym, and it means El Melech Ne'eman, God, trustworthy monarch. Amen shares its root with emunah, the Hebrew root word for faith. To say amen, amen is to say, I believe, I believe. When you say amen, amen, in churches and other holy places, hospitals and homes, protests and poetry readings, you affirm your belief in the speaker, in the words spoken. The triliteral Hebrew root of amen is aleph mem nun, which means to be firm, to be faithful, to be reliable, to believe. And the same is true of Arabic and Aramaic languages. Amen means to be faithful. This is the third week of our 3-week series on grit. Grit, determination, persistence, resilience, stick-to-itiveness, whatever you call it, we're going to need it in 2022. We need it as we support voter rights, as we watch the elections play out for the candidates of our choice, as we go to not one protest or rally or action or event, but many, hopefully, safely. I framed our conversation about grit with 3 Hebrew words. We began with hesed, steadfast love, loving kindness. All our work, our relationships have to begin in love if we're to succeed in building the beloved community that we dream and talk about so often. Last week, we talked about Selah, the Hebrew musical interjection, which reminds us to pause and reflect in the midst of our work. And today's word, as you've probably figured out, because we told you, is amen. I fell in love with the word amen as soon as I discovered that its meaning is literally so be it. Spoken at the end of a prayer or a reflection or a service, amen feels to me like a magic spell, a secret incantation that can transform the important but ultimately passive act of speaking into the living, breathing action of love. Amen is a wish. Maybe if you have the power, it's a command. But of course, none of us have all the power. Only Jean-Luc Picard gets to say, make it so, and have anything happen. For the rest of us, so be it is a wish, a dream, a hope. And by speaking the words, we hope to create the reality. That may seem foolish, of course, but it is, to a certain extent, how reality is created. Someone has the idea. Someone thinks of how the world could go, how it could be. And so they dream the dream and they speak the wish and they begin with amen, so be it. And then they end, I suppose, with so be it as well. The trouble is often when we put the amen at the end, it doesn't sound like let's begin. It sounds like all done. It's easy to fall into the mindset of amen. There, I said it, I'm finished, and I don't have to worry about that anymore. That is what's so frustrating about the whole thoughts and prayers thing. I have a cartoon that is a picture of like a big panel covered with buttons, all in different sizes and shapes, all of them red and blinking and, well, different colors, but and they all say, do something, do something, do something. And then there's a big one in the middle that's round and it says thoughts and prayers. And there's the finger hovering over it. Of course, thoughts and prayers are good. There are times when they're all we have to offer. But we almost often always hear amen as final and an ending and a signal that something is done, achieved, and accomplished. Amen isn't the last word in a prayer for peace, it's also the last thing we hear at a memorial service. To think of it as an ending, even at a funeral, is to sap amen of its magic and its power, the power to speak our wishes into being in the world. Amen should come at the beginning and end of every endeavor, with the understanding that our work doesn't really have a beginning. The need for love and care have always existed, and our work will never find an end. The Platonic ideal, the Capuchin vocative for which we strive, well, it's never quite reached because we're human and fallible. And so that image, that archetype of beloved community never quite materializes, but we're human and we're hopeful. And so we strive on and we strive to reach that ideal. And we try to just get a little closer each time. There's no end to amen. This reflection will end eventually, and this year will end someday. Our lives, every one of them, I'm sorry to say, will end. But the wishes that we wish and the dreams we dream, the hopes we hope and the work we have done will never end. Enlightenment philosophers spent years trying to create a reasonable, rational basis for Christianity, with another round of this kind of apologetic argument happening in the early 20th century. Some declared success, many declared failure, and often their religious affiliations did not survive the attempt. They failed for many reasons. Well, they never asked women or queer or disabled folk or people of color what they thought, for one thing. That's probably a mistake. But mostly our attempts at rational religion have failed because faith that isn't a little bit irrational isn't faith. It's just the privileged expectation that the world will continue on in the same way it always has. I'm pretty dedicated to reason, rationality, empirical thinking, testable hypotheses, and so on, especially in this age of scientific disdain and sort of a recoiling from intellectualism as we deal with a global pandemic. But one of the most irrational aspects of my beliefs, one of the basic cornerstones of my faith, is the unreasonable conviction that humans will always keep reaching for that wish, that dream, and that hope of a more just and loving world. And that's why even a funeral that ends with amen is a beginning as much as it is an ending. The love and wisdom that a human puts into the world, the lessons learned by those around them, don't end with the death of the body and the departure of the soul. This is part of my faith. And how appropriate is it then that amen, so be it, is rooted in faith and affirmation. On my desk, there is a stone with the word amen on it, a triangular fragment of stone from a Jewish graveyard destroyed many generations ago. The other fragments, hundreds upon hundreds, were scattered helter-skelter, and a great yearning, a longing without end fills them all. First name in search of a family name. Date of death seeks dead man's birthplace. Son's name wishes to locate name of father. Date of birth seeks reunion with soul that wishes to rest in peace. And until they have found one another, they will not find a perfect rest. Only this stone lies calmly on my desk and says, Amen. But now the fragments are gathered up in steadfast love by a sad, good man. He cleanses them of every blemish, photographs them one by one, arranges them on the floor in the great hall, makes each gravestone whole again, one again, fragment to fragment, like the resurrection of the dead, a mosaic, a jigsaw puzzle, child's play. Amen sits on the poet's desk, a broken fragment of a fragmented culture, the ragged, jagged edge of a gravestone that was shattered and scattered by hatred and then neglect. The vandalizing of the cemetery was the end of something, as amen was the end of a deeply etched farewell. But the breaking, the violence, the fear, the sorrow, those weren't the only ending these stones would know. Human hands, the hands of a sad, good man, gather them, care for the scattered remains. polish and reunite the words with one another, surrounded by the Amen and surrounding it. So be it. My dream and hope and wish for this year, the prayer that I am speaking to you and with you, I hope, is that our amens become our so be it. I dream that our hands, the hands of the sad and happy, good women and men and individuals of Community UU Church, can do the work of making the fragmented world into something a little more whole, healthy, flourishing, and good. And so I close by asking that with the sustained, steadfast love of Hesed, may we rise. Made wise by our clear-eyed pause to reflect embodied in Selah, may we act. Nourished and fed by the impossible faith of Aleph Mem Nun, may we end and then always begin again. Amen. So be it.
Though I may speak with bravest fire and have the gift to all inspire, but have not love, my words are vain as sounding brass and hopeless gain. I may give all I possess and striving soul my love profess, but not be given by love within. The prophet soon turns strangely thin.
The purpose of the church is to encourage all who gather to grow more generous in spirit and in action. This is the great end of all the world faith traditions, to bring the human being closer to the divine by acts of creation and compassion. We invite you to give us, as you're able to in these uncertain times, to exercise that all-important generosity of spirit. Our physical doors may be temporarily closed, but the work of the church does continue, even growing, as your volunteers and leaders and staff can attest to. And how can you give? Easily. You can continue to mail your checks to the church's address, and they will be collected immediately. Or you can set up or continue automatic payments through your bank. Or easiest for many, you can go to the communityuuchurch.org and click on the blue Donate Now button. Your gifts are greatly received, now more than ever. Thank you. As our worship time together draws to a close, it is now time to extinguish our chalice. Please speak the words with me. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
As we prepare to leave this place, this space, I want to share with you the words of Thich Nhat Hanh, one of my favorite Buddhist monks and philosophers who passed away this weekend at a venerable age, and yet I still feel, of course, that loss. But one of my favorite Thich Nhat Hanh quotes is, "Impermanence makes everything possible." And so, as we prepare to leave today, I remind you that Amen is a word of beginning and a word of ending. And so, sustained by the steadfast love of Chesed, may we rise. Made wise by the clear-eyed pause to reflect, embodied in Selah, may we act. And nourished and fed by the impossible faith of Aleph Mem Nun, may we end and then always begin again. Go in peace and begin again. What a nice kitty. Okay, but you gotta do it so I can talk, okay? Where's your baby? What you been doing? You're the cutest baby. You're very photogenic. Look how pretty you are on camera. Yes, it's a boy. Okay. Hi. Yeah. Hi. Good to see you too. Okay. Why are you so cute? Look at you, look how handsome you are. Okay, you're turning me into an idiot. And nourished and fed by the impossible faith of Aleph Mem Nun, may we end and then always begin again. Go in peace and begin again. Okay, there you go. What are you getting all fussy? You want to run away?